What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite host and jealous hater, Apoc, and welcome back to the channel. So, it's been a while, Colty. How you doing?
I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up?
So I wanted to cover the DCP article, and I thought I was going to do it by myself, but I figured it'd be a good video to do a collab with.
I do think that is very important because up until this article was published, it was just a bunch of creators speaking their opinion on Josh on the Dad Challenge podcast. And now we have an actual publication written by an actual journalist. If they noticed some sort of trend going on and they wanted to document that's kind of why this article was made. They reached out to several different creators. They even reached out to DCP himself, which I'm sure we will get to. But like, this is not just, oh, some people on the internet don't like him. This is now like, I don't want to say a movement because that's very DCP-like. It's gaining more traction, and I think it's gaining more publicity and more viewership on it. And I think more eyes are on this situation because family vlogging is falling out of style, but that doesn't mean that anti-family vloggers are necessarily woo, go anti-family vlogging channels. You're the best. You're doing everything right.
I'm critical of anyone who deserves it. He doesn't do anything. He hasn't done anything for children. He doesn't save children. His message sucks.
There's no shame in being a tea drama channel, but just own it. Just say what you are. Don't try to thinly veil it under this guise of being morally superior, that you have some kind of message. I think that's my biggest problem because everybody loves a tea channel. Like, it's fine. Just be a tea channel if you're going to be a tea channel, but don't say that you are morally superior and that all of these people are bad parents just because you personally disagree with it, and say that like they need to have their children taken away from them and all of these calls to action that he's done in the past. I don't disagree with every single thing. Obviously, you and I are both very anti-family bloggers. I don't disagree with every single thing that he's ever said because, hey, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So
it's like the meme I put on one of my videos where it was like from Family Guy, 9/11 is bad. Yeah, you can't argue with that.
Super hot take, like you really broke the code, like you cracked the case, like jury has come back not guilty, you solved it. Like, what? And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everything that I consume about them and that I talk about is like super morally correct and like I'm the bigger person and everything. You know what? Sometimes maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend I am. I don't pretend that I am a sheep when I could be perceived as being a wolf in sheep's clothing. And I think that's his biggest problem. And I think that's really highlighted in the article that we're about to read because a lot of people are seeing that. A big part of why people are waking up, which I hate to use that terminology, but I can't think of anything better at the moment. But it's like getting woke. Let's get woke on the DCP. Everybody's woke on it.
It's like you say you don't want to be like there's a movement because it's just so DCP, right? Well, no, I got one. The conversation has started. That's look, what it is.
Anything that's like, oh, my message, like my like the conversation, the dialogue. Like, I hate saying any of those words because it sounds so much like him, and it's just like in the forefront of my mind. Ugh.
It's so funny because his community be like, well, what makes you any different? What about your message? Like, well, for one, maybe if you watched like one of my videos, you would know my message.
I need to shut my damn mouth.
No, keep it going.
I was gonna say something bad.
Do it.
I was gonna say it's so funny how Josh claims to have all these libertarian views, yet he gives so much of a about what consenting adults do in the bedroom. Ugh, God, he's so annoying. Can I grab another drink real quick? Because I'm gonna need one. I just know it. Also, yes, I'm wearing pajama pants. Leave me alone.
He is concerned about like what other consenting adults are doing in the bedroom, and this guy's so ass backwards because he'll say he's okay with it, you know, consenting adults and blah blah blah. Yet he'll break down videos or whatever talking about it and being a prude and acting like he's against it. So it's like, dude, pick a lane already. He only acts like a prude because he wants those things for him. He says all these other people are attractive. You know, he has this whole thing about how these pregnant women, these moms are just so beautiful. Yet every time he talks about a mom vlogger, he says that they're highly attractive women. But all you're doing is showing your community that you're just full of
They don't care. And if anybody is so unqualified to talk about any sort of woman's issue, I try not to be too harsh on the viewers because I understand that you can have a certain perception of somebody when you're just viewing their videos online. I'm sure that certain people have perceptions about you and I that may not exactly be true. But the certain specific things that are very consistent throughout his content about women's issues that he tries to act like he's super educational about.
Yeah.
The fact that most of his viewership is women and they just give him a free pass on this about like Plan B, breastfeeding, even fetal alcohol syndrome, that he looked at pictures of kids and was like, they display signs. Josh, you are not qualified. You are not educated. You have zero reason and zero expertise to be able to say anything about these things. In fact, what you're doing is spreading misinformation. And that's what really pisses me off, is because there's already so much stigma and so much information about some certain things like Plan B, about women's issues, like breastfeeding, anything, pregnancy, those type of things, that I don't know who the is sitting here and listening to a 40-something-year-old bald man in his basement talk about Plan B and get it wrong. It's not hard to Google, Josh, but you don't research.
Heated.
So I'm so heated right now. This is what really like pisses me off, is because it is so simple that the fact that he didn't even bother to research ahead of time of what these processes actually are, that just shows that he either is willfully ignorant and doesn't care, or he's so dumb that he can't research.
Yeah, I
don't know which is worse.
When it comes to DCP, I believe because of ego, he believes that his opinion is like definitive. He believes it just, whatever he says is how it is. And that's why he spews all this nonsense, which is just insane, because if you look at the Gabby Petito stuff, he had to be educated on reactive abuse. This is somebody who apparently was abused younger, like within his life, yet he doesn't know what reactive abuse is. He doesn't see Brian for what he is. Like, I was calling out Brian for what he was before we knew what happened to Gabby, because I have seen abuse firsthand. I've been around abusers firsthand, saw Brian for what he was right away. I knew Gabby was the victim right from the get-go. Didn't even question it, not once. Not once. Just as those cops who like interviewed her were ignorant, DCP was also ignorant as well, calling like Brian a polite guy, a timid guy, whatever.
One of the main things that is very indicative of his ignorance is that even after people tried to educate him on a multitude of issues regarding his coverage of Gabby Petito, even after they had corrected him or informed him, the next video completely forgot it and didn't care and didn't learn anything from it and didn't give a shit enough to research on his own.
Also coming from someone who said that they can read people really well, yet every time he reads someone, it's always a swing and a miss.
This is the podcast of a challenged dad, okay? He's very challenged in a lot of areas, research being one of them, consistency, morality, all of those things he's very challenged and it's very difficult for him.
He lacks any like remorse or empathy from anything. And it's crazy because he has these people, again, who are willing to put aside all this stuff, all the problematic shit with him, just so that he can rip apart Jess Fam or OK Baby or whoever else. They just love watching him rip apart women or their houses and whatever. We always hear the bullshit from his community where they say, you got to put aside the snark to listen to the message. I'm like, talking about Jess Fam going on vacation isn't about child exploitation. It's just her going on vacation, laughing at her going down the slides. That's it. There's nothing else to it.
Kira having a threesome in Las Vegas has nothing to do with her ability to parent her children. And you know what? I will say right now, after you and I hopped off of the live that apparently upset a certain somebody, which resulted in me being blocked on Twitter, I will say I'm part of the blocked club. I did go and see a few minutes of that live, and there was so much shaming by him and by his audience. I could not believe it. Actually, that's a lie. I absolutely could believe it, but I was still shocked because it was so many people. Like, it was a ridiculous amount of people. A hoe phase.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like people were calling her the S word, saying that she was going through her hoe phase. I'm like, not really. You can say that, like, Kira, what you're doing is like messed up. You can call her like a home wrecker. You know what I mean? That makes sense. But to call her S word, it doesn't make any sense. It's not like she's out there, you know, screwing a bunch of guys or going out and partying or this and that. I'm like, if you can't, to be honest, if you look at Oscar, look what he's doing. He's going out there and partying, and was with another girl on his Instagram stories, and then he's with Corinna, and it's just like, well, I mean, to be honest, if you look at Oscar, he might be more of the S word. You know what I mean?
Josh is just mad because nobody will him.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't keep that in.
Oh, we'll keep that in. We're not
no.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You think I'm taking that out? You think I'm taking that out?
Don't you. I already called him a bald sitting in a basement.
But you're not wrong.
I know I'm not, but I have standards, okay? You know what? I think we can agree on that.
So again, this article was put out by Input Magazine, and it was pushed out by
Jessica Lucas.
Oh yeah, Jessica Lucas. That's right. Critics say YouTube's Dad Challenge podcast has gone too far. Host Josh Barber has been accused of harassing and bullying mommy influencers. He's just festering hate, says one detractor. Just to clarify, I am not a detractor. I've never liked DCP ever. Don't even watch any of his content now. Sometimes I'll pop in, but the only reason I look at his content is to make my own critical content of it, to make money. Don't just ever sit there and watch the stuff. I know a lot of people actually do that. A lot of people actually do go watch his content, even if they don't like him. That ain't me, man. I ain't wasting my time. When former mommy vlogger Sharon first found Josh Barber on YouTube, she was thrilled.
Well, when somebody first hears that somebody's speaking out against child exploitation, you think, oh, good. Somebody is speaking out against a bad thing that is bad, and that's why they're speaking out against it. Right. The problem is that that's not the full story, and a lot of people come eventually in their own time, whether it be somebody that saw this and originally saw straight through it, or it took them a while, several months, a year, a week, whatever.
For me, it was right away. Like I said, DCP talks about how he can read people. He can't read people.
He can't even research his own stuff. Yeah, exactly. You think this man can read? I don't know how the Canadian education system is, but I do have my doubts about his ability to be literate, if we're talking about this specifically.
She's been observing the world of family influencers since 2013, when she started a vlog about her experiences as a teen mother. She had her first child at the age of 18, although she gave up her YouTube career to focus on the real world for 3 years. Side note, when I watched Sharon's video, she questioned about the, YouTube career thing about being like a family vlogger. It isn't a career to her. Like, she does this for her own reasons, whatever, and maybe she wants a career out of it, but it has never been an actual career for her. She just like does it, She never really stopped watching others in the community. It seemed that Barber had been watching too, and they shared many of the same views. Note that DCP probably does actually get his information or his views from like gossip sites. He'll build his audience and his videos and his content off of what other people are saying. There's people in Family Vloggergate that go, he says the stuff that we were thinking this entire time. It's like, that's not a good thing, my guy.
Well, Josh obviously gets all of his information from gossip sites. In fact, if you just find his Reddit account, which is extremely easy to find as it's just under his first and last name, he is in many a snark subreddit, and he's asking, I need information on XYZ. I need information on this and that. Who can tell me about what happened with blah, blah, blah? He relies on basically crowdsourcing this info, which I can kind of understand why he does that. But at the same time, if you're just going to basically ask everybody that's done the actual research and the time put into the certain people that they're talking about to spoon feed it to you, I feel like you should just say that. I feel like you should just say, thank you to the people of this certain subreddit for giving me all this information that I'm reporting to you. The fact that he acts like that he just found all this on his own, or that he has some secret inside source. Ugh. Bye. I hate that shit.
I know, I do too.
What's the harm in giving credit to people? Literally, what is the harm in giving credit to people? I have never not credited somebody, unless they like specifically didn't want to be credited, which I don't think has even ever happened to me. But like, it's just a courteous thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, and for any of the DCP goons that are going to say, well, Apoc didn't credit DCP for the picture with Kira and Preston. For one, I didn't get it from DCP. And for two, it was sent to me via DM on Instagram by many people. Y'all can, deny it all you want. You can think whatever the hell you want. I don't really give a damn. Let me tell you this right now. If you think that I'm going to give credit, even if I did take it from him, if you think that I'm going to give that little Canadian balding troll any sort of credit ever when he pushed out my full name online and then constantly spreads all this shit about me and never proves anything, you are out of your mind. All of you who think I should can eat my that's on God.
I will say I can verify. You sent me that photo in the morning time, like pretty early morning time of the day that it was all of everything happened. Those timelines don't match up, sweetie. So I'm just saying, I know people are going to say, oh, well, she's biased. She's friends with Apoc. I really don't give a singular I can post a screenshot on my community tab if you want to, but you sent me that, and it was not any time after he had posted his whatever. So, okay, sweetheart, like, believe whatever you got to believe. Also, Apoc, you should definitely just get and then be like groveling at Josh's feet and saying, you're the one that broke this story first, as if you even actually care about that. Josh is the only one that does.
I love that he was saying that it was unfair because people, you know, dog him for not crediting people. I'm like, well, for one, you just admitted that you don't credit people.
He never does. He literally never does. Let me shut my mouth.
No,
you'll see it. You'll see it in my video. You'll see it in my video. I've got some things to say.
So he says it's unfair because people dog him about the credit thing, right? So he admits that he doesn't give people credit. Point being that I've never said that about him. To be honest, I didn't even know. I don't even care. And the fact that the guy has so much fucking audacity to believe that I would ever do that it blows my mind that he believes that he's owed the credit after everything he's done. Like, dude,
he's projecting and he's bothered.
He's just mad that me, YouTuber Headlines, hopped on it before he did.
He just really wanted to be the person that had all of the info, even though he swears he's not a T channel. He's not a T channel. He is all for child exploitation and completely against it. And he speaks out against it and nothing else. And it's all for the children, right? But he is hot and he's bothered about that other people had information, because I'm not going to say any names, but as somebody that is, quote, behind the scenes, there are a lot of people talking to a lot of people at once. So it's not like he's the only one that knew this information. It's so ridiculous to me to act like it's some sort of like own on people, because also he only started watermarking things once you started watermarking things. So that's also kind of funny to me. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's basically just an insurance that things will be given credit, which I, again, feel like there's no reason to not give people credit. If you got information from somewhere else, if you want to validate that, you need to give credit to other people. And also, it's just the right thing to do. Right. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Person who sent him Oscar's drunken Instagram live. That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't give credit, and you know he got it from someone online. This guy has so much audacity. It's insane.
I have so much to say. Oh my god, I haven't like got on a good like DCP rant in a little bit, and I've been watching so fucking much of his content that I'm like really needing to let go right now. But I've been watching a ton of DCP videos lately for content. Of course, I would never consume that by my own choice.
Oh, I thought that you were doing it because, you know, you really like his content. You're saying that you're doing it because you don't like his content and you're gonna expose his ass.
I mean, yes, I am a cynical ass, and so my number one priority in all of my videos is always to give my opinion in a well-formulated, somewhat thought out, sometimes that's questionable, but at least just give my opinion. And I feel like the people that are there to hear my opinion want to hear my opinion. If you want to hear my opinion, you don't like it, or you like it, whatever. I don't really give a fuck. If you're here to hear my opinion, that's fine. But as far as like, I have a lot of rants because I've been consuming so much DCP content, specifically about one specific topic. There are so many things that I could say here now. I don't want to get into everything that I've been working on just because it's going to be redundant. And also, like, without my notes and clips and everything, it would be a pain in the ass. Josh has an insane problem with crediting people. In fact, I can say right now, which probably will be included in my video, he was talking about something on a live stream that he said that, oh, somebody's talking about this one thing on Twitter. So then he clips his browser into the recording, into the live stream too quickly, and it shows that he had gotten it from a Twitter DM. And then he goes, oops, and closes it out. And then once he realizes that people saw that, goes, oh, shout out to this person. This person sent it to me. He had no intention of showing or crediting this person who sent this to him, because, I mean, essentially during this entire situation, he had just everything sent to him, which is a whole, just watch the video when it comes out. I can't get into it all right now. Too long, but
having sent to him. He has his son edit his videos, and he has other people to clip out things, and maybe even his son does it. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it was too. His son is so ass at editing, because, like, by the way, like, look at the edits. There's like nothing in the video that's like actually edited, like, at all. So DCP, if you're watching this, your son is ass at editing.
Fucking dead. He's gonna sue you.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's gonna send you a fake cease and desist, even though you can send it to me and I will be able to verify if it's a real cease and desist, because bitch, I've written cease and desist before.
Just like he said he was going to report me to the police, but never did.
My initial impression was that he had great intentions, says Sharon, 27, whose 2 children are now ages 3 and 8. Sharon, who is from California, returned to YouTube in 2020, posting about ethical issues in the mommy vlogger sphere on her channel, Sincerely Sharon, which has more than 5,000 subscribers. Input is withholding the last names of most interviewees in this article for their privacy. He was drawing the light to a very important conversation that needed to be had, she says.
All right, so touching up on not including people's last name for their privacy. The reason why isn't just because, oh, it's just like courtesy, you know, for us. We specifically requested that because DCP will go out of his way to dig into your life, because that's how he handles the so-called detractors and haters, is to do that, is to be invasive and intrusive and to use scare tactics, because he doesn't want you talking about him. He doesn't want you putting out these videos. He doesn't want you saying mean things to him. So that's what he does. He will go after you. And so we specifically requested for our names not to be put out there. Mine already was, so it is what it is. But
by DCP, no doubt.
And I've already said in my other videos, man, go ahead. Come on by, bro.
You have a young child at home,
right?
Even though you have no criminal history or anything.
No.
You have a young child at home, which is why you're concerned about your name being DCP, who's so concerned about the children, suddenly doesn't give a singular shit about putting another child in danger, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. This is the same guy who cares about children, yet he wants to, you know, put families in danger. Barber, who is known for his 4-year-old YouTube channel, the Dad John's Podcast, which now has nearly 120,000 subscribers, seemed to be a staunch advocate for the protection of child social media stars. So let's talk about DCP and his channel for a second. Speculation is that he bought a lot of subs.
I gave a huge wink when you read the number of subscribers.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that. Again, like his views to sub ratio makes no sense. Look at mine. Mine makes a lot of sense. To be honest, actually, my videos actually do really well compared to a lot of other people's.
Honestly, both of our ratios are, we on average get a lot more views than our actual sub ratios, which is to be expected.
Like what we have to say, I think, right?
I would think so. I would at least think that whether people like it or not, that they're at least interested in what we have to say. But it seems like DCP just can't even pull that viewership anymore. I mean, he's got, at this point now, 121,000 subscribers. I think the last that I saw him was, and yet he's getting like 20, 30.
And he can't even get like
sometimes
of his community to watch it. Almost like 100,000 people aren't watching his content. So it's almost like he actually doesn't even have 120 odd thousand subs. It looks like it's a lot lower. It does look like that he bought subs. Let's know that DCP has had a lot of channels, multiple channels, even upwards of like 6 to 7.
It's so funny because people like on my generation. I was born in 97, so like I'm kind of on the cusp of like young millennial or Gen Z. I was raised with a lot of millennial things, but I also like consume content online like a Gen Z person, so I'm kind of on the in-between. I have never had a larger footprint than this 40-year-old man right here. This man has had, I mean, it's almost impossible to keep count of. He's had multiple blogs, a Pinterest board, like multiple YouTube channels, podcasts. Like, it's so much stuff to put out online. And I understand that part of being a person that needs to market is being sociable and being on social media. I get that. But this goes beyond just being sociable and having an account on every platform. This is like beyond that. He had a whole Tesla podcast, for God's sake. Like,
that was right before the Microsoft stuff too, like literally like a month and a half before it happened.
This is empty.
And then when the Microsoft stuff popped up, he stopped talking about the Tesla podcast and went right to the Microsoft because it popped off for him, and they never went back to it.
Because it's almost like people don't want to listen to a middle-aged white dude in his basement talk about Teslas all day.
Yeah,
it's almost like that. It's almost like the world can live without Josh Barber talking about his Tesla. Right. His like writing for Elon Musk on Twitter, which I've now been blocked from, but like his writing for Elon Musk that I've seen on Twitter is so fucking ridiculous. I'm like, Josh, he's never gonna fuck you, sweetie.
Like, chill out, bro. It's not gonna happen.
Like, he makes all these videos about Senator Ted Cruz. My name is Josh from the Dad Challenge podcast. Ethan Klein from H3H3. Whatever the fuck person that nobody gives a shit about, who's never gonna talk to me. No important person or perceived to be important person gives a single shit about you. And I'm not saying that anybody gives a shit about me either, but I'm not like begging at people's feet and groveling for them to pay attention to me.
The difference is that he thinks that people gives a damn. You know what I mean? Like,
they don't.
Well, we know, like, nobody does. Like, I don't care. Like, even when I'm bigger, because I am getting bigger, I'm growing, regardless of whatever. I'm growing at a way faster pace than DCP ever did. You know what I mean? Like, if we're talking about years wise, DCP has been on the platform, and this is what I wanted to talk about, for more than 4 years. His Dad Challenge podcast channel, sure, it's 4 years old, but he has another channel called Josh Barber that has videos on there from 8 years ago, from over 8 years ago. This guy's been on the platform and on multiple different platforms for a long time, for like a decade, trying to make it. And whatever he did, okay, fine. But he tried every other fucking avenue and nothing worked, which I love it when his goons say that they watch, DCP for DCP. But they don't. He's been on the platform for so much longer than he puts out. In fact, he put out a video a few months ago talking about how he was only on the platform for like 2 years. Bro, you've been on the platform for like a decade. You just don't want to.
Your daughter had her own YouTube channel until people started calling you out for it, and then you removed everything.
It was a singing channel, a gardening channel. He has like 10 channels on his own. His son has a channel as well. Nothing worked. Nothing worked until he started like bashing women.
Here's my main theory is that people that already dislike these mommy vloggers, they find value in Josh's channel because it's just another place for them to do what they're already doing on gossip forums.
Yeah,
and I've seen this firsthand. I have literally with my eyes visualized and seen the collection of pixels into my eyeballs. I've seen this. It's not that they find any value in Josh himself or his commentary or his research. It's that most of the time they already know the stuff that he's talking about because they're the ones that he got the research from. It's just that they have another place to type words onto, which, sis, if you're into that, type away, type your little comments. I'm all for that. Give your opinions.
A parent based in Ontario, Canada, Barber, spoke about the importance of asking kids for consent when filming them and called out mommy vloggers for problematic behavior, like referring to their children as employees or shaming other women over their approach to motherhood. Yeah, well, he says stuff about like children and consent, but then he has shown those children on his videos without asking for their consent. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're kind of doing the same thing, buddy. You know what I mean? You're showing these kids online on your channel, and he only started blurring them out like later on. But, he was speaking out against that sort of thing. So just more hypocrisy come from the Dad Challenge podcast.
He even examined analytics to shine a light on exactly who is watching family vloggers, namely a sizable cohort of middle-aged men, and why that could be, in his opinion, dangerous. Let's go ahead and put this out in the open right now. The website, the organization, whatever that he was paying for those analytics, as somebody that like literally researched, like had research methods and data statistics classes in college. I don't mean to sound uppity, but it's just a very basic form of analytics of data, that there are some ways that data is collected that is not completely accurate. And it's been shown for YouTube, you have to be 13 to create a YouTube channel, a YouTube account, whatever. It's very clear that children that are under the age of 13 watch YouTube. Right. So they have to be watching on somebody's account. I'm not saying that every single analytic that Josh has ever put out is completely incorrect. It's just that he does not have across the board accurate analytics because there is obviously a very large amount of children that are watching on parents' accounts, brothers' accounts, friends' accounts, whatever. Something that is not reflective of their actual age is being recorded. And for him to act like that it's all these predators and that it's all these whatever, and that this number is super high and it's super scary, that's not completely accurate.
I mean, like my son, you know, he'll watch, you know, his cartoons and like, you know, learning videos or whatever on our iPad, but he watches it through our account. Now he's only 2, but the point is that can still apply to a, you know, girl who, or even a little boy who's like 12 years old who wants to watch family vloggers or whatever. There's a lot of parents out there who know that there are harmful things on YouTube, right? You know, they obviously need to know a little bit more because family vloggers, but you don't expect family vloggers to be stains. But there are parents out there who do like want control over what their kids are watching on YouTube. So they're like, okay, this is my account. I have parental controls on here, this and that. Now that situation will go into those analytics. That kid could be 12 years old watching family vloggers, but it will be registered, I guess, as a adult watching, you know, these family channels. Those numbers don't make any sense.
Sharon could never have guessed that she'd become one of Barbara's biggest critics, but this was before the alleged bullying began. Sharon is one of a number of concerned mommy vlogger commentators who have spoken out against Barbara. He stands accused of harassing and bullying mommy influencers, spreading misogynistic viewpoints, and weaponizing his followers against critics.
Like I said earlier, what he does is the way he handles or tries to handle his critics, aka us. He will, you know, put on his community tab and or say some other stuff or say things in his videos,
or you.
He'll gaslight and manipulate his following, and they're so easily fooled. He'll do all that stuff because he's actually like the hateful one, and he hates that we do these videos. He hates it.
There would be more people talking about it if they weren't scared. And personally, from what I've received in DMs, I know that some people have said, I would love to make a video talking about my opinions, but I'm honestly scared that I'm going to get And the fact that people have even said that to me, and not just felt that, but like said that to somebody, and I'm sure that you've talked with some other people about them being fearful of getting. People don't just wake up one day and think, I wonder if DCP is going to me if I make a video on him. It's obviously a pattern of behavior.
That's his reputation now, is that that's what he will do. Barbara's tactics have sparked outrage and concern among the mommy vlogger commentary community, which has produced hundreds of videos, and yes, it's probably roughly hundreds now, about the controversial influencer. His critics are worried that if left unchecked, he could bring real-world harm to the people he targets. Him putting up Brianna K's address or her neighborhood or whatever on Google can bring someone nasty to her home.
And he actually threatened to bring protesters to the Stoffer's house with several children in it.
People who hate the Stoffers. He does initially try to put people in harm. He does. Like, that's what he wants. I definitely believe he's a psychopathic, narcissistic sociopath. I 100% believe that. I believe he's a predator. He's disgusting. He's not a man of God. He is of the devil. Dude literally has the devil imagery on his merch. He is a disgusting human being. The fact that he uses his ex title as a pastor as a shield to act like he's a good person is just super telling. Although many believe that Barbara's channel started out with good intentions, his focus changed over time. Around a year ago, his content shifted to covering parenting influencer scandals like the one surrounding mommy vlogger Micah Stoffer's failed adoption, which ended with the influencer returning her adopted child, Huxley. She said she was unable to provide proper support for his complex needs. While many commentators on the mommy vlogging world spoke out about the Stoffer scandal, they were horrified by what they saw as Barbara's excessive response. At first, he went after the Stoffers in one video, which remains on his channel today. Barbara threatens to picket the Stoffer's house in response to Huxley's rehoming, asks for help paying for the private investigator to track down and look into Huxley's new family. Got that one wrong. He said that he was going to hire private investigators to look into the Stoffers, not Huxley's new family. He's just threatened Huxley's new family and repeatedly tells fans it's time to plan action and go to the next level.
He did take things to the next level, his critics allege. Quote, he found Huxley's new family on Instagram, even though they're not like influencers or anything, unquote, says Apoc. Shout out Apoc. A 32-year-old mommy vlogging commentator and entrepreneur from Oregon with more than 7,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Then he said that if she doesn't take Huxley offline, it's going to be a problem, unquote. And this is absolutely true, because if we remember correctly, and I'm sure that there are clips everywhere online, he said that he had messaged Huxley's new parents, where he had been rehomed by the Stoffers, that he was blocked multiple times, which means that he had harassed them to the point where they had blocked multiple accounts.
Yep.
And his problem was that they had posted him on Instagram. So the thing about harassing Huxley's new parents about where he was rehomed with another adoptive family, they weren't posting YouTube videos. They weren't family vloggers. They weren't any of these things that he was speaking out against before. I mean, it could be as simple as a simple Instagram post. It could just be that. The fact that
Matter son, that's all it was.
I mean, really, it was so unnecessary. And if here's kind of my conundrum with the whole Micah Stoffer thing, I think that they absolutely did the wrong thing, and I do not excuse anything that they did. But once Huxley was out of that home and they were into a new home that I assume was probably better suited to care for his needs, which I very much hope and pray that they were. If they want to post a simple Instagram picture, fine. If they want to post an Easter photo, a Mother's Day photo, a Thanksgiving photo, a Christmas photo, I don't give a single shit. But the fact that Josh went after these parents so hard after taking this child out of a household where he should not have been in, that he still harassed them to the point of having to be blocked multiple times. What do you want, Josh? Do you want to adopt this child? You should be proud of these people. You should be happy for these people. You should be championing these people that adopted a child. So what is the problem? That they posted an Instagram photo?
Yeah, by the audacity again of this guy, that he was agitated, that he was being ignored. You're some weird, bald, creeping from Canada, and you're online stalking another family, demanding to know the location of a little boy.
When these parents signed up to adopt this child that needed special care, they did not sign up for Josh Barber in his basement, like stalking and harassing and incessantly messaging them to take them off of their Instagram page, which, as far as I've seen to this point, I've never seen them like exploit him or be like, I haven't seen anything from these new parents that adopted Huxley. I haven't seen anything from them. So why is Josh going so hard? I think it's just because Josh knew that the Stoffers were his cash cow. So he has to follow through on it.
So if you guys don't know about like the weaponizing community thing or threatening them with this community or threatening the new family, it was because she ignored him and wouldn't talk to him. So he got agitated, went online, cried to his community and says, hey, you don't want to mess with us, lady. That's what it was.
Breaking TOS.
Yeah, breaking TOS. Again, go figure. No wonder he likes Ethan Klein. In a since-deleted YouTube video that has been preserved by another YouTuber, Barber ranted about how the family should stop posting Huxley's image, see, that's what we were just talking about, to their private Instagram account. He claimed that he made this request of Huxley's new parents so many times that they had blocked him. It's not the only time Barber has gone over the line in the eyes of his fellow commentators. He's also targeted influencer Brianna K, a mommy vlogger with 426,000 YouTube followers, whose lavish lifestyle he often mocks in his videos. You're constantly doing the behavior that you apologize for. It's no good. You're not learning or making a change. He made a video where he pulled up Brianna K's new home on Google Maps and he was showing the street address and naming major landmarks, Sharon says. With all that information, someone could easily go find her home. I tried myself and I found her home in minutes. This is a guy who speaks out against that sort of thing, saying that this can happen to them, and then he goes and does it. It's like, bro, you don't need to prove that you can do it. We know it can happen, and then you just do it, and then just call an oversight, and then you say you wanted to find out where Target was, closest Target near her home. Bro, that's creepy.
I only look things up if I'm going there.
Like, what if somebody bad got hold of your video and took advantage of it and went and did something? You would have been in big trouble for that.
Although the video in question has since been deleted, the apology Barber issued for it, in which he told his detractors to, quote, kiss my ass, unquote, is still available on his channel. I'm not going to be kissing Josh's ass anytime soon. Okay, you got to pay me for that shit.
But Josh, you can eat mine.
Sharon doesn't buy the creator's half-hearted apologies. He continues to do this, justifies it by saying he apologized, and then it happens again, unquote, she says. Quote, if you're constantly doing the behavior that you apologize for, it's no good. You're not learning or making a change, unquote. And I totally agree. Because what's the point in apologizing for something, which means that you take accountability for what you did and you recognize that it was wrong, and then you continue to do the same thing? That means that that acknowledgement and that accountability and that apology is null. It means nothing. While Barber's videos have upset many, his critics are more concerned about his efforts to take things off screen. Notably, he has targeted Danielle Cohn, a young TikTok influencer who attracted significant controversy for releasing sexualized content on the platform in 2016 when she was a minor. Cohen tells Input she is now 18, though her age is widely debated online. According to critics, Barber made it his mission to have Cohen removed from her mother's care. Quote, he made a video stating that CPS, Child Protective Services, was called 100 times and was telling his followers to keep doing it, to keep calling, unquote, says Marissa, a stay-at-home mom of 4 who uses YouTube to advocate for moms on the internet through her YouTube channel, Not Another Housewife, which has more than 4,000 subscribers.
I guess the only thing I have to say about that is that he denies that he told his community to call CPS on anyone. We all know that's a lie. Marissa points Input to a video that Barber posted on YouTube last year when Cohn was widely assumed to be 15 years old, in which he admits to circulating, revealing pictures of the influencer online in order to make fun of her chest tattoos, and later encouraged his followers to call CPS on Cohn to have her removed from her mother's care. In an interview with Input, Cohn says Barber's actions have worsened her struggles with anxiety. Quote, I have to deal with cops all the time and Child Protective Services because they think I'm in an abusive home when I'm not, says Cohn, who has amassed over 20 million followers across her TikTok and YouTube accounts. Quote, it's really hard to sit there and get interrogated at such a young age. It was traumatizing for me. Again, this is where it plays in that Josh's message doesn't really work, because it seems like him trying to protect the kids has backfired and he actually has traumatized a child. And it's just crazy because it's like, you would think that after reading this article, which we know he read the article, but you would think that you would maybe address this and talk about maybe some wrongdoings that you did, and maybe you should kind of like, you know, have some self-reflection and like recalibrate your approach. But no, Josh will never, because, you know, Vlogmas is eventually going to come up and he wants to bash, you know, home decor and Christmas lights.
The fact that Danielle Cohn is saying very blatantly that Josh Barber himself, the Dad Challenge podcast, the Challenge Dad podcast, explicitly traumatized her from inciting his fans to call CPS and to call certain authorities on her. The fact that he didn't even give a enough to comment on this really pisses me off. If this is the person that is in such a bad household that you need to incite your followers to get some attention on her and to get the authorities' attention on her, and yet she's saying this did nothing for me, this traumatized me, this gave me a lot of anxiety, it impacted my mental health, and the fact that she's saying this and yet Josh couldn't give enough of a that he's such a coward that he couldn't say anything to this article. If you want to say anything to an article or not, or give a comment or not, that's fine, but when somebody else as famous as this young woman is, and then say, I don't want to. Have a nice day. Yeah. The fact that you do that, you're a coward and you're a hypocrite, because everything that you stand for is everything that you're actually doing against this young person. It's also really messed up because there's kids that really do need Child Protective Services. They're taking time away from those kids to come and see a girl who's perfectly fine, unquote.
Mostly, Cohn wants people to know that influencers like Barber aren't ethical vigilantes despite their best efforts to appear that way. Quote, I feel like people kind of praise them and make them look like they're heroes, but in reality, they're not. She says, they're saying lies about me so they can get their views up. Then I have to deal with all these people harassing me and hating on me. Critics of Barber charge that he seems motivated by more than a desire to save the minors of YouTube. He'll frequently talk about women's hair color, their teeth, their body parts. He'll call them horrible mothers and say they don't care about their children. Marissa says, it's pretty clear he hates single mothers. He's actually spoken on his channel before about his trauma from having a single mother, so I think he projects that. He absolutely does project that, because
completely.
Like, we don't even have to like say much on that, because everyone knows he does, because he has literally said that he projects his past trauma from his mother onto Just Fam because she reminds him of his own mother. In one video, Barber acknowledged his controversial attitudes towards women, but said he has improved because he no longer says the TWAT word when speaking about mommy vloggers. In the same clip, he defended his choice to regularly criticize women's appearance.
He is a champion of women's issues because he doesn't say the word anymore. And for the record, I'm not offended by the word, but for him to say that he's made like strides in respecting women, that he doesn't say anymore, I just have to laugh. Like,
so your moral compass is, oh, you won't say the T word, but you'll degrade them from head to toe. Congratulations. Right. Marissa says that Barbara's followers just hate moms on the internet. She adds, they just feel really bitter about them and making money and living their lives. DCP's community is full of women who are just jealous over these mommy vloggers, even though there's nothing to be jealous of. I mean, unless you're
Josh is a failed family vlogger himself. So this, honestly, this part makes sense to me. Yep. It really does. Some of Barbara's fans, who surprisingly are predominantly female, beg to differ. Quote, Josh is very strong in his opinions, and some people may find that extreme. Others will say it's passionate, unquote, says 46-year-old Canadian fan Renee, who tells Input that she's reported, quote, a couple of incidents, unquote, to CPS, actions she claims were not influenced by the YouTube host. Quote, I believe he has good intentions and is, at heart, someone who wants to make a positive difference, unquote, she says.
You can't make a positive difference when you're putting families in danger. Other fans have more mixed views. Calling CPS on people you don't know in real life is nothing I agree with, says 22-year-old barber follower and graduate student Kennedy, who lives in West Virginia. Although Kenny characterizes some of Barbara's methods as extreme and actively avoids his snark videos, she ultimately views him as a force of good. Whether you like his methods or not, Josh is making noise and people are paying attention, she says. Yeah, but it's all about the right people, because the only people listening are the people who want to hear him bash others.
Totally agree. And the people that he is making noise about, the child specifically has said, Josh Barber has made my anxiety worse. He has impacted my mental health. He has impacted my day-to-day life. I have to be constantly interrogated by DCFS or CPS workers, police officers, law enforcement officers. He's not making a positive influence on these children's lives. Really, if you can ignore the snark for the good of the child, where is the good?
Although Barber is happy to make noise and speak freely on his channel each week, he did not want to talk to Input about the allegations surrounding his behavior. Quote, Josh is not interested in answering any of your questions, says press person for Barber. Have a nice day. Yeah, again, his press person was probably him in a wig or his son.
But the fact that he couldn't even be bothered to comment, and the fact that he didn't even just ignore, because let's not forget, he didn't just ignore the comment. He sent a press person to say, Josh isn't interested in any of your questions. Have a nice day. He did respond, but not to give a comment, to say, basically, go f yourself. The fact that he did that signals to me that's everything you need to know. Because if I was somebody that really believed in a message and was really championing being an advocate of children, that would be the perfect opportunity. I would be messaging people every day saying, please write a story about what I'm trying to talk about. I really believe in this. This is important. The fact that he said, basically, go f yourself and have a nice day, that says everything.
Some worry that Barber's repeated disregard for his detractors and his refusal to sincerely address criticism could create problems further down the road. The bigger he gets, the more dangerous he will get, Apoc warns. His community is nothing but sheep, and we don't know if there are any crazy people in that group. They need to be held accountable because they're getting out of control. Something bad is going to happen. Something bad will happen because he puts these people in danger. You know, me in danger, technically, other people in danger. So something is going to happen.
And I fear that a lot of people will think that this is some sort of free speech issue. Free speech does not cover, first of all, freedom of consequence, but also a call to action. Let's not forget that a call to action is inciting people to do a certain thing. So anybody that has called CPS under Josh's guise, anybody that has thought, oh yeah, I do want to go picket outside of the Stoffer's house, that is a call to action that is not covered under free speech. That is a call to action that is inciting people to go do a specific action which could be detrimental or harmful to other people. So
and the children living there.
I don't understand how anybody is, oh God, it's so annoying. Like, it's really harmful to see these types of things being said and these types of things happen. And basically just everybody ignoring it. Everybody just saying, it's fine. He means well.
Yep.
Oh, well, he doesn't really mean it. It's just a snark. He's doing good. He's making noise. He's getting attention to these important issues. But they don't really call to care out. They don't really care to call out all these not okay things that he's doing. You and I, personally, we have never said we should go do XYZ. We should go pick it outside somebody's house. We should go call some sort of authority on this person.
Actually, hold on. I want to fact check you real quick. I made a joke with another content creator about going to rescue his wife from captivity in a Black Hawk helicopter.
The domestic right.
That was an obvious joke. Like, we know that his wife isn't in captivity. It was basically just kind of playing off it. He's like a narcissistic piece of That's just what it was. But it was an obvious joke. But he was literally crying to YouTube saying that I was advocating and trying to rally up my community to go to his home. But dude, pot calling the kettle black there, my guy. But it was an obvious joke. While DCP was saying him and his community should take things up a notch and go to someone's house where there's kids and bring people to hate them. Bro, like that right there was pure deflection and projection. That's what he was doing. And that's all he does because he has no arguments. He sucks. He's just horrible at debating, which is why he only tries to debate like Maya Knight stands, because they're easy fodder. Anyways, all you jealous haters, that's about it. Well, let us know what you guys think down below. Comment, like the video if you enjoyed. Thank you, Colty, for joining in. It's been a little bit. Glad to have you back on, and we're gonna do it again sometime very soon.
As always, I'm happy to be here.
But I'll leave a link to her channel down below in the description, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
See ya.